Have you ever just been somewhere where you just knew that you did not belong? Like you get somewhere, you walk into a room, and instantly you're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like this is weird. These people, this is not my vibe. So my second semester of college just started, and I basically got to take this writing class because it's required for the major that I'm doing. So today was my first day of this class. It was at 8 a.m. and it was really weird. So I walk in there. I was like the second person in there, and it was just like just chilling. I was just on my phone, pretty much waiting for the class to start. I was probably like 10 minutes early, and eventually a couple more kids come in, and then the professor walks in, and she seemed pretty normal. She was like, "Hey, you guys are some go-getters," because we were all like early, I guess. I don't know. She's just trying to be funny. Little did I know, and how do I even put this? That was going to be just a sneak peek of what I was in for the next hour and a half. So as more and more people come into the classroom, I realized that my professor's a little, I guess, maybe, what's the right word? Performative, theatrical, little expressive, maybe. And, at first I'm like, all right, they're just trying to, it's an 8 a.m. class. They're just trying to get everyone awake and engaged. And I realized that no, this is just who they are. She was very energetic, I'll say. And look, I'm all for an exciting professor, all right? I remember I had a class in my first semester where the professor was super boring and I actually couldn't stand it. I just wanted to die in that class. It was so bad. But whatever, you gotta stick it out. Just do what you gotta do. But this was crazy. This was the complete opposite of that. And you'd think that'd be helpful. You'd think, okay, an energetic professor, I'm gonna be engaged in the class. And it's really hard to explain everything that was going on because I just don't know how to put it into words. But just imagine you're taking a class and the professor thinks that she's like some sort of like theater character and her goal is to make you laugh for an hour and a half, literally like nonstop, just try to make you laugh, but she can't do it, and she's failing miserably at it. Like when I tell you, everybody in the class was just stone faced. Actually, no, that's not true. There was a chick that was sitting directly to my left, and she was eating this shit up, dude. She was laughing at all these jokes. She was slapping her knee. She wasn't slapping her knee, but dude, she was giggling. She was the only one giving the teacher attention, and I felt kind of bad, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, you don't, you don't do this. Like, how there's try not to laugh challenges, like that whole YouTube trend a while back. It felt like a try to laugh challenge. Like I was like, I couldn't laugh. And even if I wanted to laugh, I couldn't do it. And I just felt like I was in the wrong space. Like I said in the beginning, I just felt like I didn't belong there. Because a lot of those people did, like, no offense, I don't even know how to say this without making it sound offending, I guess, but a lot of those people seemed like they belonged there. They seemed like this is their kind of vibe. But, like, it was like the quirkiest professor I've ever seen. Like, she was genuinely, like, it was like she was bouncing off the walls literally every second trying to make people laugh. She was doing, like, accents. She was, like, running across the room. And it was just like, I don't. She was like singing some of the words. Like, it's like like people that like they'll hear a certain word. I don't know why I can't speak properly, but they'll hear a word, and then they'll just start singing a song because that song has that word in it. It's kind of like that. It was something else, man. I felt like that scene from Diary of a Wimpy Kid where he's like, "Get me out of here! These people are driving me crazy." Like he was actually insane. And then, like halfway through the class, I don't know why it took me so long to realize, but the professor's ponytail is green. Okay, it is green, and that explained a lot. I didn't even realize it at first. I don't know how, but it was green. It was green. Now I will say, there are a couple baddies in there. I mean, by a couple, I literally mean there were two. There were two of them, and that was probably the only exciting thing about the class. That was like the only thing that is keeping me from dropping that class, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm definitely gonna drop that class. I'm probably just gonna do the class online. And let me tell you, online classes, dude, those are overpowered. Like it's actually insane. It's like you can just do all the work. You don't have to go anywhere, and it's just so easy. I didn't realize like one of my friends, he's been on this method since the first semester. It's actually overpowered, but that's probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know, but I don't know, man. There's these two baddies in that class. I don't know. That was the only thing keeping my attention because it was actually like it was a cringe fest. I'm sorry. I could not focus on whatever this professor was trying to say because it was just so cringy. And after that, I actually had a class with one of my buddies, told him all about it. And I guarantee you, if he was in that class with me, we would have gotten kicked out. Because all it would have taken was like for my buddy to look at me once, and we would have just been cracking up. We would have lost our shit and gotten kicked out of that class. And I will say, from how this professor described the class, it did seem to be really easy. It seems like it literally seems like a middle school English class. So it's not like, I don't know, it's not like it's hard because I feel like I've always been kind of good at like English classes. I feel like that's not like, I'm not trying to flex that because it's just like it's English, you know. But like I don't know, it seems like it's gonna be really easy, and she kind of made it like a whole big deal, and it's like I don't know, man. This is just you're doing too much. You're doing too much. It's English. It's just essays and writing stuff. And you know, it was something else. And again, not a diss at my classmates, but you know, a lot of them just seemed like very different than me. People that I just wouldn't get along with. You know, they had very creative names, interesting names. I'm not gonna say the names because I don't want to, you know, I'm not gonna put them out there because I feel like that's just kind of wrong. But you know, there was interesting stuff going on there. And yeah, and I'm also not saying that, you know, there's anything wrong with the professor. I know there's definitely people that would enjoy this class. I know some of the people in there did. And, you know, that's just not me. So I think I'm going to drop this class probably today as soon as possible and just pick up an online one because it's just so much easier. It was literally, it felt like an hour and a half of just like a jester trying to entertain me, but it's like he's failing. I guess she's failing in this case. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. That was just my first day of one of my classes in semester 2. So yeah, might have some more college stories coming up soon. I know it's been a while since I posted, but if you made it this far, thank you. Appreciate you. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.